Okay, let's do the chimney stitch. So I am starting with my row of white coming around. So I've already done 2 repeats on the sock just for ease of having something on the needle here. So we are going to knit 2, I do knit continental, but we are ready to wrap our stitch here directly above because they alternate, the bricks alternate. So we have stitches that are 7 red apart and 1 white on either end. And now we're going to wrap above the previous row white. So I can see where it is and I don't have to count as much, just easier. And so I'm going to go in as if to knit, and then I'm going to wrap the yarn around the needle twice, nice and loose, and pull it through. And so I want to have enough yarn on that needle, and this is a little trial and error, so that when I slip it up, it's not gaping. I don't have too much, and as I twist it, it has just enough yarn that when I'm pulling it down, it's just long enough. So 2 wraps fairly loose works just great. We're going to just then knit 7. Down here, this one looks a little loose. I could have twisted that one more time. So I may go back and drop that down and just twist it again, but I wanted you to see what the difference is between something that's twisted 3 times and something that's twisted 4 times. So we'll just move over here, 7 stitches, and now we're going to go in as if to knit, wrap it around twice, and pull it through. Then when we come back around to that stitch, we're going to slip. I've reached another white stitch. It's been twisted up a little bit, but let's say you reach it and you've just slipped it off the needle. So now you've just got a stitch here that's just hanging out and it's elongated stitch. Could you leave it like that? Yes, but is it going to be awfully gappy? And yes, and easy for little fingers or your fingers to get caught in it. So we do want to twist it. So we just go in, twist, in, twist, in, and that's all I'm doing to twist those stitches around that needle. Then when I come to it on this row, I can go ahead and knit it. I can twist it again, or I don't have to. I could just have knit it through the loop and not twisted it, and I continue to go around the needle. Then I'll show you what will happen when we get to a slip stitch double. Okay, I'm back at the beginning of my round and I'm using double points. You may be using, 2 circulars or magic loop, whatever, but I've come around and I want to start using my red yarn next. So I'm just going to reach under and pull my red yarn up from underneath the white so that it traps that white. I'll pull that white out of the way over here, and then I'm going to start knitting with my red. So now I'm going to knit with my red. You can see that that white has been trapped underneath there, and it gives a way to snug down that last stitch of the round where the red stitches are now nice and snug. So we're going to knit over with our red to the double wrapped stitch. So I've gotten over to my double wrap stitch from the row below. I'm knitting my first round of red, so I'm just going to slip them both. That keeps them snug on the needle. You can drop it off, but then you get this really loosey-goosey stitch that you have to deal with for the rest of your rounds. So I like wrapping and keeping that stitch double for a couple of rounds as I work my way around. I've worked another 7 stitches, and now I'm just going to slip the next double wrap stitch over to the next needle and continue knitting with my red 7 more stitches. I'm going to do that all the way around on that first row of red. Just a note here that the last stitch of some of your rounds will be a double wrap stitch, and it can get really loosey-goosey because the tail is there. So if it gets too big and loose, you can just tighten it down by pulling your tail. You still want to keep it loose, but sometimes because it's only anchored there by the 1 stitch, it can get a little loosey. Okay, now we're gonna go on to our second round of the bricks. The bricks are 4 rounds high, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna 7 red, slip the double wrap stitch all the way around. We're on row 3 of the brick stitch. And I will just say that I like to go underneath the white on this one. I went over the white on the last one, but that will also help to raise it up and anchor it a little bit. So I like to go underneath with the red. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. 7 red, slip 1. But when I get to my double wrap stitch, now I've carried it up for the 3rd time. So it gets a little, whoops, it gets a little fiddly because it's stretched so far, and so it will tend to kind of fold over right there, and that's fine. I prefer to keep this taut than to unloop it now and wait and to unloop it on the last round. I just like that better for myself. Totally up to you. We are now 4 rounds high on our brick, which means we're on our last round of red. The following round will be that first round of white that we did before. We're going to drop that double wrap stitch off of the needle, and we are going to start twisting it. So we double wrap, drop off. Now we've got this long slip stitch, and this is where I like to do some of my twisting. I just twist it, twist it, twist it, and then I continue on. So 7 stitches, drop the double wrap stitch off the needle and twist it, twist it, twist it to slip it over to the right. It is not being knit yet. It does not get knit until the white round. So all I'm gonna do is twist. Oops, I split my stitch there. Twist, twist, and keep it on my right needle, and then once again knit 7 red. So it's very repetitious. Once you get your brick set up, it's 7, 1 white, 7, 1 white, all the way. You do the double wrap stitch, we take it off, we twist it 3 times. As I said, you can twist it twice, 3 or 4 times. Really depends on how much slack you have on that slip stitch. But as you can see, they lay really much more nicely once if they're twisted a few times on the needle. Easy peasy. My next round would be knitting with my white and making the double wrap stitch, and I would be making the double wrap stitch offset from the previous row. Happy knitting!